Today, I'm breaking down how I shot this cinematic whiskey commercial at home, from the lighting setup, to the product shots, and to the pouring shots.
You see it before you taste it. You feel it before you know it. Every detail, intentional. 4 Roses Bourbon, a taste you can't forget.
Okay, so first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up the backdrop. Once you clear everything out the way, I do like setting up the black seamless first, and I'll show you guys a couple tricks that I like to do when I'm doing everything by myself. So usually if I'm shooting by myself, what I like to do is I like to kind of put the seamless on the floor and then size up kind of how far the seamless is gonna be. And then I'm gonna put one arm up. So I'm gonna put this one up. Perfect. And then this one, I can put it up here. Perfect. And we don't have to lock this one in too hard. Perfect. So the next spot is how we're actually gonna do it. If you're in a super tight space, you can take this arm out and then we'll slide in the seamless onto that arm. And then I'll slide this one back in. So let me show you guys. So there is the arm, slid in. And then now we're gonna do this one. And then we're gonna go pet it through the arm. Move this a little bit. There we go. And there it is. And then put it all the way through. And we're gonna lock it in. And then here, we're gonna put the clamp right there. Okay, now that we have the arm here, we are just gonna shimmy it one by one. And we're just gonna go right there. And then I'm gonna go back to the other side and raise it up. And lastly, now that we're here, we can let this clamp go and it'll roll out on its own. And then we just put the clamp back in at the very end and we're good to go. Now that we have the backdrop ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the folding table. And I do have a tabletop from IKEA that I just kind of use. It is white, so I'm gonna put black covers over it so that there's no lighting reflecting unless I wanted it to. But in this case, for bottles, we definitely don't want anything reflecting to it. So I'm gonna go grab that. I'm gonna be using this to use it for the folding table. It just makes work a lot easier. You just go ahead and fold it and it's ready to go. And then do the same for the other one and it's ready to go. So here is the table. I like to put it against the edge as much as possible. And then I'm gonna bring the cloth over. These are just like curtains that I bought. If you do want something cleaner, you can always like steam it if you wanna use this, or you could use some of the seamless. But for our purposes, I'm just gonna use this for now. For the next thing, I do like using black boxes to kind of give it more like of a riser. So when you're shooting, it doesn't catch the cloth, but it's just catching the box only. And again, you can always do something different for the table. You could use some of the black seamless, cut it, and then put it here. So now I'm gonna start lighting everything. So I'm gonna use this right here. And I'm gonna use another monitor where if I'm pouring something and I'm doing everything by myself, I like being able to see everything that I'm doing. So I'm gonna use this larger monitor than I usually use so that I can see things as I'm shooting it. And I'm also gonna set up for the camera, so I'll be right back. So for the setup, I'm gonna be using this tripod, but I am gonna be using a slider. And for the slider, the base of the tripod, if it can extend, it's usually better so it doesn't tip as much. So I'm just gonna go ahead and extend it out so that the base is a little bit stronger. This way it doesn't flop as much, and I'm just gonna go ahead and lock it. There we go. And there it is slid. All right, so I'm now gonna attach the base plate to this fluid head. It's not the best, but it's a thing that I have to shoot with right now. Usually with this slider, I can attach the Ronin, but I don't have one, my friends do. And just making it work with what I got for today. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and slide this in until it's completely secure. And that feels really secure, so should be good. Now I'm gonna slide it onto the slider. All right, so I attached the base plate to the bottom of the camera, put it onto the fluid head. I'm gonna turn it around and and it's ready to go. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and set up the monitor. Now for these type of shoots, sometimes if there are multiple people on set, you could always use like a wireless transmitter, but for this one, we don't really need to do that. I'm just gonna connect straight from the HDMI. Now here is the stand and here is my monitor. Now for this one, you could definitely use a TV, but the thing that is always easiest is to be able to mount this just to any of these. Makes it just easier for me. So now that I have the bottle and I can see the monitor here, I am gonna start lighting it. So the first thing is that I'm gonna put my main key light and it's gonna be on this side. And I'm also gonna use a diffusion paper, some Roscoe paper or a knockoff of it so that it's not as hard. So I'm gonna show you guys that setup first for the first key light. As you can see right now, the bottle is very, very dark. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my Godox 300 and I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it up. And that is at full blast. Now, that's probably not the best image right now, although it looks kind of cool. It's definitely not the best image at this time in moment. You could still see kind of like the diffuser. So the best thing with that is using some Roscoe diffusion. There is the arm. I'm gonna give it a little bit more space. I did put also a sandbag on this one because it almost did fall one time when I was shooting. So be safe. Here is the paper, letting it roll out. And then I'm putting a clamp at the end of right here. And now I'm just gonna raise it up. Perfect, raise it up a little bit more and we're good there. Okay, so now you can kind of see how the bottle looks. I'm recording on this camera now. And so I'm gonna show you guys the images and it definitely looks a lot better with this. Now I do have this backlight that is gonna kind of mess some of the shots up. But for now, this key light is a lot better how it is now. So right now I went ahead and I put this paper right behind it. And right now I'm gonna take it off so you guys can kind of see with the camera what it looks like. But it cuts off a lot of the bad reflections. And so that's without it, and this is with it. And as you guys can see, it looks a lot better. And that's still without putting a backlight on it. So now I'm gonna put the backlight. So for this shot, I ended up putting the VL150 on here and then I added this reflector on it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. And I do know it should be good at 1%, but I'm also rolling on that camera so you guys are gonna be able to see what it does. Actually, that looks kind of hard. It's a little blown out, but I think having it at like 1% helps out a lot. Now, I don't know what's causing this weird reflection. I think it might be this light. Let me go ahead and test it and I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. Okay, so now that you guys can kind of see right now, I only have 2 lights. So I have the backlight and then I have the key light, which is kind of like a soft light. But now you can kind of see some of it kind of going to the front of the label. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add this just foam whiteboard to kind of bounce some of that light back. And as you can see, it brings some of it back. And it's not completely perfect, but it'll do the job. And then for the other one, it's still not light enough, but I can't shoot a light directly to the bottle because you're gonna see the light. So my solution around this is usually either shoot up to the ceiling or shoot to the side. So for this one, shooting up to the ceiling works. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and turn on the light. And I'm using this reflector. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And that makes a big difference. And now the final light that I'm gonna add is the background light. So let's go ahead and do that. So for this final light, I'm actually using a VL150 reflector once again, and then I'm attaching a gel to the reflector to create that kind of red color that I want because it is red roses. So a little bit of red would go good on the background. And the next thing that I'm gonna do is right now, it is about 41%, but let me show you guys what it looks like without it. And then here's what it looks like with it. And it looks really nice. I am using a bit of 2 clamps here to kind of hold it. And sometimes these do melt, but it is 150. So usually it takes about a while, maybe like 8 hours for it to melt. Don't quote me on that, but that's what happened to me last time. I got a little jacked up, but now it's fine. And then the last thing is, I am seeing a little bit of spill on the key light. So there's a little bit of white going onto the background. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go grab a clamp and I'm gonna clamp that up with a black foam board. So let's go ahead and do that. All right guys, so right now I am looking at the monitor that is right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and clamp this onto the diffuser so that it stops spilling, so that white stops spilling onto the thing. So I am recording on both, so this technically should fix the problem. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clamp it. Give me a moment. And that stops some of the spilling. And I think it did a good job. So that helps. So this essentially kind of helps a little bit with the spilling. And you can do it with like these foam boards, super cheap, $3 at Michael's. So we're gonna go ahead and get started for the next shot. And so what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna add this MTF battery to the back. And then now I'm just gonna hold the button down. And it's gonna do a little bit of adjusting on its own. I'm gonna just let it do its thing. And it's ready to be calibrated. So now, the good thing about the iFootage is I just press video. And then after video, I'm gonna go ahead and delete the rest of my old stops, confirm. And you can actually manually set this to wherever you want. So you just have to hold both of these real fast, let it go. It does the sound, it unlocks. And then now I can move this however I want. So let's say, for example, I wanted this to be my A point. So I'm just gonna put A point. And then from here, if I wanted to kind of go in, give me a moment, I'm gonna pull this in. Turn it a little bit. Perfect. And then that could be my B point. And then I could put the settings. I can put, if I wanted to take 15 to 10 seconds. Now, what I have realized with the slider is that just with this simple ball head, it does tend to do a little bit of motion. So when you're filming, ideally you would be filming at 60 FPS or 120 FPS because sometimes there is a little bit of jerking movement on it. And so in order to kind of make the shot a little bit longer if you needed to, you could slow-mo it, or you could get the exact type of shot that you want. But I just kind of want that slow pull. So I'm just gonna press standby and it's gonna connect. And then now I'm gonna press record on this and it should be in 10 seconds and it's just gonna pan in real fast. And that's essentially the panning movement. And so, well, actually the pushing in movement. You could definitely pan it for this type of shot. It's gonna be difficult because there's so many lights around it. But this is really a cool shot just to go in. Now, the hardest shot is the water shots, which is, or the pouring shots, which is what I'm gonna set up for now. So I'm gonna go show you guys how to do that now. So for these pouring shots, what I actually have is this clear acrylic. Now, it's supposed to be to put like food on it or something, but I just went ahead and duct taped that thing out. And I haven't changed it since I duct taped it. And so there's no water that ever spills from these. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place the bottle or place this underneath where the bottle is at. And then I'm gonna show you guys the arm that goes around this bottle. So let's go do that now. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready for the shot now. Let's remove this and this. Remove this, remove this. And we're gonna go ahead and just place this here. So we're gonna be pouring with an actual C-stand. And now I'm gonna go ahead and open this thing. It's called a Martirelli or something. I'll show you guys what it is on the description. But essentially I went to a camera store and then I was like, hey, I need something to clamp this. What is the best product? And they gave me this one. Now the bottle barely fits. So there the bottle is clamped. Now it's not where I want it to be. So I'm just gonna undo this and fix it to how I want it to be. And that's kind of the pour that I want. Make sure I'm sure it's locked in, but I don't want to squeeze it too much and break the bottle. So I'm gonna be having the final shot kind of pan up and down as I'm showing you guys, but this is essentially what it looks like. So it's pushing in. The hardest part really is to get it to focus, but right now it's doing a really, really good job. Now you may be seeing that I have this thing I'm holding this thing up. And this is technically a macro lens. So right now I am on an 85mm, but I put a 10mm macro, so it's making it 95. And the main reason I did that is because right now this is just a really close-up shot. And so in order to get everything pouring right, a macro lens works, but I don't have one. So this is kind of the substitute for a macro lens. So for me, getting a camera that can actually do that, at least 4K 120, or if you can, 240 frames per second, the bare minimum. Luckily, I have the FXZ, which is what I'm shooting as my A cam right now. But it can do 240 frames per second, and it does make a big difference when you're able to slow it that much. Now, it is in HD, so the quality is a little but again, if you just wanted to just kind of pour out, it's probably gonna pour out pretty fast. But outside of that, that's pretty much it. So again, the most important thing really is learning how to light it, using the thing in the background, and then after that, adding some motion to the shots with the slider helps out a lot. So that's how I shot a cinematic whiskey commercial at home. It really was just about controlling the light, building the right setup, and taking the time to make each shot feel intentional. Hopefully this gave you a few video ideas for your own product videos. And if you're trying to get better at shooting commercials, honestly, the best thing you can do is just start shooting one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.